What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. It is the 6th day of January, and here we are sitting at about $2.35 with 8 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. First and foremost, when analyzing the price action of XRP, you can see that we've been in a downtrend. We've been downtrodden. We've had lower highs, lower lows, set the whole thing. And while we are breaking out of this structure right here, we are basically breaking out of it, we still do have lower highs, right? Yes, I know it's a higher high relative to this. This is a higher high relative to this, but I think that we don't technically have higher highs until we're above these highs here, right? Personally. Nevertheless, this move is clearly different than anything to the upside that we've seen since July. Don't take my word for it. Look at the indicators. We haven't been this overbought in the RSI since July. Our MACD has been in a downtrend and hasn't been above the zero. I mean, we were above the zero back in August, but we were in a downtrend there. We're in an uptrend now, crossing above the zero. This is the type of environment we haven't seen since July. And I don't think that means that we have to, you know, from this low here, we're at this low, we have to go all the way up to this high. I don't think that means we have to go up to this high, right? It doesn't have to look the exact same as what we did back here, but I do assume from this point, more or less, we will continue to new all-time highs altogether. And it might not happen this week, it might not be next week, right? Maybe it's sometime next month. That's what I'm assuming. We'll probably see new all-time highs sometime next month, but we'll get into that as we continue on with this video. Right now, I'd like to look at the short-term stuff. It's nice on the daily time frame that in the midst of this move, we are building volume. I want to look at the 1 hour time frame. Are we at a point at which we can expect to stop? Are we just going to continue moving up higher? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some volatility here. Let's get into it, okay? 1 hour time frame here. You can see on Binance USDT, the highest traded pair for this crypto in the world, on the highest volume exchange, Binance, for crypto. We're moving up here, and then the volume starts to dissipate. We're moving up, the volume starts to dissipate. So does the price action. I think at this point, we probably do sell off a little bit. This seems, though, I will say, this seems a bit too obvious. Like you've had too much time for what seems like a very obvious pullback. With that in mind, we might not get a pullback. Maybe we just consolidate. Or the pullback we get might be more modest than originally assumed. So we need to be open-minded to that. We did move up at a good pace. Maybe we move back down. We'll see. But I'm just thinking here, it seems a bit too obvious that we pull back. And that makes me think that, again, this is not the end of this move. We are likely going to begin this move. Right? This is the beginning of this move. And again, going back out to the daily time frame, I hope it's abundantly clear that this, even if it is a relative high, it's not long-lived. What we're doing here is completely different than anything else we've done in this range as far as upside behavior goes. This is a starting point to something overall larger. This is not an ending point. If you're bearish here, it should be short-term only. And even then, I would be shaking in my little bear boots because I don't know. In moments where it seems obvious to go down, and you're just moving sideways, we will likely go up. 1 hour RSI, you rejected the overbought zone recently. You do have lower lows in the RSI with higher lows in the price. That is hidden bullish divergence. Looking at the RSI this way, being that you got so deep in the overbought zone and then you came back up and you tried here, you tried to get higher and you just couldn't, you rejected the overbought zone. I think we come down. So stochastics getting overbought. Weaker readings than we've seen really throughout this move over the past few days. Makes sense we might come down, retest the oversold zone, reset yourself. MACD's building bearish momentum, which isn't bad. You're overall in a very bullish posturing here. The ball's definitely in the bull's court, but again, you could come down. It makes sense. However, I'm not seeing anything that suggests that we go all the way back down here. Okay. With that in mind, there's a strong chance, at least as of now, that we don't go below $2.30. Let me adjust that we don't even go below $2.31.8. Okay, it's like a 2-cent difference, but still. 4 hour time frame here. We're probably just going to consolidate nice and tight. 4 hour RSI looks spectacular. I'm not getting anything off this other than you're hot. Maybe you cool off a little bit. You know, you can stay in this range doing this, and you'll cool off. Stochastics look great. The MACD looks great. There's nothing really bad to say. I mean, everything that I'm seeing here tells me, again, what I've been telling you. It doesn't stop here. This is not the point at which to stop. Right? I actually think it would be a very bad time to sell right now. Obviously, it's not the best time to buy, but tomato, tomato. I mean, you look at this in a weekly. It just depends on the perspective, right? You look at this on a weekly time frame. We put our big box of glory on here, and where we are here, this line, the price action, we are in that. We are still below, I would say, the midpoint of this box. So, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Buying here, theoretically, you're buying at a better price than most market participants have over the past year. This is a more suitable price than most entries have been over the past year and 2 months. So it's not ideal, but in that light, kind of. I mean, imagine this is your consolidation phase. We're about to break out to go to $13 or $17. And in this consolidation phase, you're buying at the lower third, the lower quadrant of that phase. Doesn't sound that bad, does it? Even after this pump, doesn't sound that bad. It kind of makes me want to FOMO in right here. 4-hour time frame. Didn't we look at this already? Yeah, it just looks good. I'm not really getting anything that shows weakness here. We can consolidate, we can contract a little bit, but likely we continue to build. The consolidations, the contractions will be very minimal, if I'm right. Daily RSI getting pretty strong. MACD crossing above the zero. We're getting to that point where we will cross above the zero. The last time that we crossed above the zero, that ignited a nice little move here, where we went from a low of about $1.91 to a high of about $3.69. We're at the same low areas here. I wouldn't be surprised if this time this was the kickoff that actually takes us to new all-time highs and breaks us free of this range forever. Stochastics look good, MACD looks good, RSI looks good. We can consolidate, we can spend the next few days consolidating, and that's fine if we do. Don't get upset by boring price action. Likely later this week or sometime next week we'll start to move up higher again. That's my assumption. Again, looking at this on the weekly time frame, we're bouncing off the oversold zone. Beautiful, nice, love to see it. Even if you're a bear, right, in a bearish sense, you've got these lower highs still. But even if you're a bear, you have to admit that would imply that we have some growth more from here to go, right? Even if I'm wrong and we don't, this is not a point at which we do move up to break out to new all-time highs. And it's not going to happen like that, right? There's going to be turbulence, whatever. Maybe it's March that we're breaking out to new all-time highs. Maybe it's February. It could be by the end of this month. I don't know. But if you're not on board with that, at least get on board with what I've been saying throughout this video, is that this is not the relative high. We likely do move higher, right? The point of resistance isn't even until we get to the 60 on the RSI. We're nowhere near that yet. So there's more growth on the weekly RSI being proclaimed here. And I would say we don't stop here and then come down. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we do get into the overbought zone, but we can agree to disagree for anybody who's bearish there. Stochastics bouncing from the same area they bounced from before. It's kind of a weird area, but for XRP, you actually do like to bounce off of this area right here. You bounced right there. You kind of bounced right here. Found resistance right there. Bounce right there. Resistance right there, right? Bounce right there. It's a pretty common area to bounce from for XRP. And the weekly MACD is about to cross green again. So very bullish prospects here. It certainly does seem as though something different is going on over the past couple of weeks. And I would think here, being that we've consolidated for a year, and we're finding support at the base of the range instead of breaking out, really does put the ball in the bull's court and really does set us up, I think, to break out of this positively. Whenever it does come time to break out, whenever that is, maybe it's this month, maybe it's next month, I would think it's February that we see new all-time highs personally. I think we'll load up for the big move this month. This month will be the coiling month. We will still move up this month. I think we will close this month higher than we are now, close January higher than we are now. But I believe January will be the month where we kind of coil up, and then February will be the month that we launch. February, March should be pretty damn spectacular. And maybe it's not February, March that we see this high at $13 to $17. Maybe it's April, May. But February and March should still be the part at which we commence this breakout of this overall phase we've been in now for over a year. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Take care of your kids or your parents if you don't have kids. Or your pets if you have pets, or flowers. Take care of your flowers. Take care of yourselves, though. I always say that first, because you can't take care of anything if you can't take care of yourself. Or maybe you shouldn't be taking care of anything if you can't take care of yourself. Either way. Take care. Bye-bye.